Today, we're talking about test. When you hear the word test, what comes to mind? School, yeah, school. Does anybody have, like, when someone says Mufasa, in the movie, like, Mufasa, ooh. Do you get the shivers when you hear test? Anybody? Like, nobody likes, who here likes taking tests? No? No one? No one likes tests? Right, spot on. Like, you think of school, probably have tests at work. I know at work where I work at, I had to get licensed, so I had to take some tests. Pretty stressful. A lot of time studying. When I was hitting that submit button, man, I hope it says pass. When I hit one button, it led to another button. And another button. I'm sitting there, it's like, come on, give me my score. But there's tests. Physical tests, relationship tests, financial tests, all kinds of tests. Who here has ever gone through a stress test? Stress test? Okay, a couple of us. Right? Fun, right? Right? Trying to check the condition of your heart. How do they do that? They make you put some stress on that heart, right? Get you on a treadmill. Get you walking, get you running, get you jogging, get you running. Why do they do that? Why do they put you through a stress test? Because they want to check the condition of your heart so they can see if there's anything wrong. They can diagnose, they can check out what's going on. They can examine, okay, this is happening, this is what's going on. It's a stress test. It's identifying what's going on. So stress test is just that, a medical examination that assesses how well the heart responds to physical exertion. Stress test. How well does the heart handle it? Is the heart able to handle certain stresses? Then they can diagnose and give you a plan of attack, right? Hey, you need to start working out. Hey, you need to start eating better. Hey, you need to come back in because there's a blockage. Like they can diagnose and they can assess and make a plan. It's a stress test. I would contend that not just the physical heart, but our hearts are getting tested each and every day. We're constantly going through trials and tests to see and to assess where our faith is and what we put our trust in. We're going to be in James 1. We're going to be talking about these different tests, these trials, these troubles, these temptations that we face, and the stress test that maybe God allows us to go through so that we can assess our level of faith. So if you have your Bibles, we'll be in James 1. We'll start in verse 1. It'll also be on the screens. And this is James, so this is Jesus' half-brother, who didn't initially believe, but did believe when Jesus appeared to himself. And so here James is writing mainly to the Jewish people, but it's for us today as well. And so James 1 says this letter is from James, a slave of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm writing to the 12 tribes, Jewish believers scattered abroad. Greetings. Verse 2. Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, don't you wish they would have said if? All right, if they come. They might come. When troubles means, guess what? It's coming. When troubles of any kind come your way, big troubles, little troubles, any type of troubles come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. Now, I just want to maybe preface this a little bit. I don't think James, what he's saying here is that, hey, when some type of trial or trouble come your way, that you should go around screaming and yelling and like, hey, great joy, woo! My car broke down, praise God. Like, I don't think that's what he's intending here, right? We're not going to celebrate them. We're not going to celebrate the trials, but we're going to celebrate what the trials do to us and can do to us if we allow them. So no need to celebrate you lost your job. Right? No need to celebrate. The business isn't going great. No need to celebrate the things we go through. We celebrate how it changes us and transforms us into the likeness of God. That's what we celebrate. That's the pure joy. It is making us more like him. And it changes the way you think about the things you face. The trials and troubles, how you view them matters. And if you have a mindset of, hey, this is shaping me and molding me and transforming more into the image of God, that's what we can celebrate. That's what we can celebrate. For you know that when your faith is tested, there's that fun word, tested, right? When your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. If you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. Anybody here needs wisdom? Ask. Ask. Especially when you're in a trial, in trouble, right? If you're facing something, I get Google's great. I get there's podcasts out. There's amazing books to read. First and foremost, if you're going through something, ask the Lord for wisdom. Ask him. Not to take it away, but ask him for wisdom. Lord, show me. What do I need to know? What do I need to do? Reveal it to me. Give me wisdom. He's generous. And he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. But when you ask him, be sure that your faith is in God alone. Do not waver. For a person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. So make sure when you ask, you're not divided. You're not divided. Your faith is in God alone. Verse 7, such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world, and they are unstable in everything they do. It's that whole hey, solid foundation. What are you building your life on? The sinking sand of the world, or is it the solid foundation of the Lord? Believers who are poor have something to boast about, for God has honored them. And those who are rich should boast that God has humbled them. They will fade away like a little flower in the field. The hot sun rises and the grass withers. The little flower droops and falls, and its beauty fades away. In the same way, the rich will fade away with all of their achievements. What James is talking about here is, what are you putting your trust in? You can have all the money in the world, and guess what? Be gone just like that. Be gone just like that. Just like the flowers and the grass, like it droops and falls. Be gone just like that. What are we putting our trust in these moments? In the trials and tribulations? Like, what are we putting our trust in? Is it in our achievements, our accomplishments, our jobs, our riches? Are we putting our trust in the Lord? Put your trust in the Lord is what he's saying. Verse 12, God blesses those who patiently endure testing and temptation. TNT. Yeah, all right. Nice. TNT, you're welcome. Testing and temptation. Afterward, they will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. And remember, when you're being tempted, do not say, God is tempting me. God is never tempted to do wrong. He never tempts anyone else. Temptation comes from our own desires. Remember this heart here? This deceitful and wicked heart. My desires, the things that I enjoy, the pleasures of this world, My desires lead to my temptations, which lead to my sins, which then lead to death. My desires of the flesh, lead me to go down that pathway. Because once again, wicked, deceitful, leads you down a pathway. Verse 14, once again, temptation comes from our own desires, which entice us and drag us away. These desires give birth to sinful actions, and when sin is allowed to grow, it gives birth to death. So don't be misled, my dear brothers and sisters. Whatever is good and perfect is a gift coming down to us from God our Father, who created all the lights in the heavens. He never changed or cast a shifting shadow. He chose to give birth to us by giving us his true word, and we, out of all creation, became his prized possessions. So James is talking about these things that we're going to face, that all of us are going to face. Trials, troubles, tribulations, temptations, all these things. All these things. It's going to cause us stress. Because of this stress, though, we're able to build and become stronger in our faith. I don't know if you've noticed, I've been working out a little bit more. Just a little bit, right? Don't know, hey, I'm married, it's okay. But, been working out a little bit more. I needed to, trust me, I need to start working out a little more. Too much time on the couch, sitting at a desk, not moving around a lot. As I move, right, it's putting stress on my body, right? Putting some tension on my body. That's when muscles start growing, with some resistance, start tearing and building back up. Right? Like the more I stress it and put it to work and exercise, it's building, it's tearing down so it can build back up. Our faith does the same thing. As we go through these trials, these troubles, these temptations, like it might feel like it's being, or like it's our faith is crumbling, it's breaking down. But as you go through these things, you're actually going to be able to build up stronger. And as you continue to build up stronger in your faith, you're able to experience more and go through more. Your faith gets stronger. All of a sudden you're realizing, well, hey, I did this. I've been able to get through that. Now I can get through this. As you continue to go through these trials and challenges, your faith continues to build if you're able to stand strong, stand firm. If you put your trust in him and not in the things of this world. I like to share just the trial that I think my family went through. Leaving Sioux Falls to come to Omaha was it felt like a trial. I know we're coming here to help plant Meadows Church, but it was challenging. Definitely felt like we were being attacked, and these trials are coming. Are we going to be able to go? Are we not going to go? How's this going to work out? It's amazing once you start doing some small steps of faith, how easy it is to take bigger steps of faith. Then all of a sudden, as we help Meadows plant, now it's like, okay, Crossover Church isn't just a thought anymore. It's actually we're going to put some steps into it. And as we're planning to plant Crossover Church, realizing that, oh my gosh, as we announce that we're going to start Crossover Church, guess what happens? A global pandemic. Small challenge, small trial. What do we do next? Do we freak out or do we faith up? What do? We ask for wisdom. In the trial, we ask for wisdom. Lord, what shall we do? What do we need to do? We just kept asking the Lord, what should we do? Where should we go? How do we do this? We're trying to figure out how do we even start something when everything is closing down. So we had to be patient. But it was a trial that forced us to draw closer to the Lord. That's what these trials should do. These trials should reveal what we put our trust in. So the trials we face test our faith. They reveal what we put our trust in. The trials we face test our faith and reveal what we put our trust in. As soon as that moment happens, when you get the bad news, when things don't quite go as planned, your faith is being tested, and it's going to reveal what you put your trust in. You put your trust in other people, in your own ability, or do you put your trust in the Lord? Do you still believe that he is faithful and good even though you're facing a trial, you're facing a challenge? Because whatever we face here, it doesn't change him. Like, he is still good. His status is unchanging, regardless of our situation here on earth. So what do you put your faith in? What do you trust in? We had to double down on putting our trust in him. We had to. Didn't know what else to do. Though it took longer to launch, but here we are. Here we are. So when things get tough, what do you put your trust in? When trials and troubles are coming your way, what or who do you run to? The trials that we face serve as an opportunity and a path to mature and grow in our faith, to become more like him. To become more like him. And no, on this earth, there'll be trials. There'll be challenges. We will be tempted. But he is still faithful. He is still good. Gonna transition to the part where he talks about just the temptations that we face. How it talks about it's our own desires. Our own desires that tempt us. Almost like when you have any fish, people that like to go fishing. Do you fish at just the hook? Hey, is it just you just put the hook in there? What do you have to put on there? Bait, right? You need bait and a hook. Same thing is true for us. We have desires, bait and hook, that are tempting us to go down a different pathway. Are you going to take the bait? Are you aware of your own desires? Are you aware of the things that will lead you astray? We all have them. Have you given it to the Lord? Have you shared it with someone else? Have you created space? Man, I wish fish were smarter. They could talk to each other. Like, hey, dude, don't take that bait. It's a hook. For us, when we go through tests, they're not just for us. The test we go through, whether we pass or fail, becomes a testimony to help other people. The tests we experience aren't for us just to hold on to. They're for us to learn and grow, but then also for us to share with other people. For others who maybe have gone through or will be going through a similar situation. Our tests lead to a testimony that can help someone else. I love it when someone shares, and I don't love that they're going through it, but I love when someone shares with me they're going through something I've gone through before. Because I can tell them where I messed up. I can tell them where I did not pass that test. I can tell them where I fell short. I also tell them, hey, this is what I was able to do because of that. I can also share, hey, this is how I overcame that. I can also share, hey, I was able to pass that test, and you can too. It gives hope. It can give support, encouragement. Be praying for one another, encouraging each other. Our test leads to a testimony. So everything we go through, the trials, the temptations, all those things, reveal our faith and help build other people's faith as well. people always ask, like, Casey, how did you start a church? Like, what's that even like? I'm like, it's not easy. Not easy at all. But if I can do it, I think anybody can do it. If this clown can do it, anybody can do it. Marriage, right? Casey, how do you have a successful marriage? I don't know if I had that. Ask Amanda. I think we do okay. Bumps and bruises. I'm trying to figure it out. But this is where I mess up. This is where I might have gotten it right. This is where I'm trying to get better. So everything we have, everything we've been given is an opportunity to help each other out. The trials of relationships, of finances, of health, of spiritual growing, like it's all these things that are designed to build us up and to build others up as well. But we need to understand the desires of our own heart, the fleshly desires that lead us astray. And one of the greatest moments for me when I realized how the desires of my heart could change. Obviously, we read in Ezekiel that, hey, he gives us a new heart. But there's something truly amazing that God does. He's given us this amazing gift. And it talks about delighting in him. So our desire changes. Our desire, the things that we desire changes the more we delight in the Lord. My heart changed. My heart was transformed. My mind was renewed. The more I delighted, the more I was devoted to the Lord. You know the saying, right? The more you spend time with someone, the more you become like them. It was the moment when I started spending more time with the Lord. It wasn't just a Sunday thing. It was an everyday thing. It was this, like, I need to be with him. I want to be with him. And the more time I spent with the Lord, I delighted in him. I got this satisfaction of being with him. The more my life changed. The more I didn't want to drink anymore. The more I didn't want to say the things I used to say, act the way I used to act. I no longer cared about the things of the world. The weekend party scene, no way. I don't want to do that. Those friends stopped calling me. So I would never show up anymore. But my mind was being renewed, and my heart was being changed because I was delighting in the Lord, not just on Sunday, but every day. That's delighting means having a high degree of gratification or pleasure. I enjoy time with my wife. I enjoy time with my wife. There'd probably be everyone would have a concern if the only time I spent with her was 1 hour, one day, 1 hour a week. That'd be concerning. Does that show I love her? Not at all. 1 hour a week with my wife does not show how much I love her. But we justify that 1 hour with the Lord reveals I'm a follower of Christ and I love him. Am I devoted to him? Do I delight in him? Do I want to be with him? The more we are with the Lord, the more our desires will change. The more our hearts will change, the more our minds will be renewed. I read from Psalm 37. Starting in verse 3, it says this. It's another psalm of David. Verse 3, trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord and do good. Then you will live safely in the land and prosper. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you your heart's desires. Delight in the Lord. You need to delight in the Lord before he gives you your heart's desires. Prior to delighting in the Lord, I do not want him to give me the desires of my heart, because they are wicked and deceitful. But when I delight in the Lord, when I desire the same things he desires, because that's what happens. Once again, the more time you spend with someone, the more you become like them. The more time I spend time with the Lord, the more compassionate I am, the more loving I am, the more joyful I am, the more peaceful I am, the more like him I am. Once we delight in him, then he will give us the desires of our hearts. Commit everything you do to the Lord. Trust him. Trust him, and he will help you. This whole asking him for wisdom, like in the trials that we face, trust him and he will help you. Run to him, commit to him. He will help you. He will make your innocence radiate like the dawn, and the justice of your cause will shine like the noonday sun. Be still in the presence of the Lord and wait patiently for him to act. Don't worry about evil people who prosper or fret about their wicked schemes. Be still in his presence and wait patiently for him to act. So as we're facing these trials, are we asking him for wisdom? Are we waiting for him to share? Are we truly committing our life to him? Are we trusting in him? Where are we putting our faith? What are we putting our trust in? To delight in the Lord means to spend time daily with him. Get in his word so his word can get into you. Spend time in prayer. Serve others, love others, encourage others. Delight in the Lord. As I was preparing for it today, as I was reading Psalm 37, that whole being still hit me pretty hard. Last week I was sharing with the group, just a couple guys, and just talking about how I used to journal a lot more. I used to it required me to slow down and be still. I had notebooks and notebooks of just thoughts, things I heard, things I was learning. It required me to be still. I remember in those still moments, as I was reading John 5:24, where crossover came, where unleash, this word came that would hopefully be a church planting network. I just remember, not so much what I said, but the being still and hearing from the Lord. Something I don't think I've probably been doing as much as I need to. Creating space to, no matter what I'm going through, to just pause, to be still, ask him for wisdom, and be patient, and he will act. So, I bought a journal. I used to think, hey, I'll just type this out, or I'll use my phone, but I bought a journal because it takes me time to write. It forces me to be still. So I would encourage you all, as you are going through whatever it is, whatever trial, whatever tribulation, whatever challenge, whatever temptation you're experiencing, pause. Be still. Put your faith in him. Put your trust in him. Ask for wisdom. He will act on your behalf. Delight in him, and he will change your desires. He'll change the way you think. He'll change the way you act. He'll change what you care about. And when the next trial comes, it'll be an opportunity for you to consider it pure joy, because you're becoming more like him as you go through these trials and challenges, because he is with you, he is for you. I couldn't imagine being the Israelites as they needed to cross the river, as the Egyptian army is coming after them. I couldn't imagine that moment. But the Lord acted on their behalf. Their faith was tested. I couldn't imagine being Daniel about to go into the lion's den. His faith being tested leading up to that moment. And the Lord acting on his behalf. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the same thing. Going into the furnace. Their faith being tested. and their faith being revealed of who they put their trust in. Peter and Paul, as they're going to prison, all these different moments, these acts of faith that they're facing, these trials and challenges, revealed what they put their faith in. Will people around you say the same thing as you're going through these trials and these challenges? Your faith will be revealed. Either a lot of faith or little faith. But it will be revealed. Whether you fail or you pass, it's an opportunity to learn and grow and become more like Christ. So delight in the Lord. He'll change your desires. He'll act on your behalf. He is with you, and he